Hello everyone, Google Hell, it's Google I/O event today, and here's what you need to know. For my Pixel fans, they unveiled a Google 6a, also talked about the Google Pixel 7 and 7 Pro, finally talked about the Google Pixel Watch, and also unveiled some new Pixel Buds, and also a Pixel tablet. They talked about a lot more things, including Android 13, their AI advances, and so much more. Let's talk about all of this, but first, let's roll the intro. For those of you new to this channel, I'm Bellemare-Alford, a young photographer and filmmaker on a journey to become better at this art. Instead of starting with the Pixel news, let's talk about other things that most people covering this event probably won't be talking about. One of the first pieces of news they shared is about Google Maps and their Eco mode that was available in Canada and the US and is now coming to Europe. And this mode allowed to save about the equivalent of 100,000 cars in terms of CO2, which is a really good thing for the environment. And it's very nice to see that technology can actually help the environment and not only make it worse. One of the most interesting things they shared is actually at the very end, and it's their augmented reality glasses. So if you know Google Glasses, it's their new version that looks more like new and actual glasses, not something that's weird on your face. And these glasses allow to have live translation right beside somebody that you're talking to, so you can see the face of the person you're talking to and talk to them more naturally without having to look at your phone or something else. They also had a demo where through your phone you could actually click on things in the real world with augmented reality. So if you had a menu, you could point on something and Google search would know what you're trying to see inside of that image. So that was pretty cool. They also had some news about their Google search, and for this they announced multi-search, and this is a pretty cool where you can take a picture and then add more questions about that picture to get even more information. So this is what they call multi-search, where you can take different types of inputs. You can have a picture but also some text or some voice and mix all of this together to get some better results in a faster way and more natural way. They then had some news about the Google Assistant, and this is actually pretty cool. So first of it is how to interact with it in a little bit more naturally. So the first thing is if you have a Google Nest or something like that, you can walk to it and just look at it, and when you look at it you can start asking your question because it knows you're looking at it. Then they have a quick phrase, so instead of having to say hey Google all the time, you can actually, oh Google just answered here, you can ask a question. So let's say something like set a timer, and they're gonna know that you're actually talking to Google and not something else. So right away it's gonna be able to answer to that question and set a timer for you. But there are also all kinds of other phrases that you can configure and decide which one you want it to answer to you or not. Then they also announced they're gonna have the attention chip on the devices for much more natural interactions. So for example, when you ask a question, that actually happens to me quite a lot, where I start asking a question and I just start hesitating in the middle. So I'm gonna have I'm gonna have some pauses, so you can be able to remove all of this and have a much more natural and fluent interaction with the assistant, so you don't have to think about your question before asking it, which can be a little bit annoying sometimes. They talked a lot about security inside of this presentation, and one of the coolest things they announced is virtual card numbers inside of Google Pay. So they won't be sharing their actual card number with people and instead have a virtual one. So even if somebody finds your card using Google Pay, they won't have access to your actual credit card. So that's a very good news for added security. The next thing we need to talk about is Android, and here they didn't have as much to share about Android 13 than they did for Android 12, but have nice little tweaks, including icons that are going to match your theme for all your icons, not only the ones from Google. They're also going to have music cards that adapt based on the music you're listening to. They also made a call out to Apple to support RCS. This would be really nice to have some SMS messages that work better for everyone, because pretty much everybody supports RCS except Apple, so that would be a great improvement so everybody can have the same experience. And then the biggest improvement is actually coming with Google Wallet. So they're bringing back Google Wallet to replace Google Pay. And if you're like me and you use Google Pay right now, you know it's not the best experience. They support pretty well credit cards, but they don't support much else in the end. They have some cards, but it just doesn't work well in the end. Here they're going to support pretty much everything, including your boarding passes if you're taking a flight, but also student cards, all kinds of membership cards and things like that. There's really no limit. And they're even going to support more personal stuff like vaccine cards, and those are only going to be stored on your device, not on the Google servers, so you're sure they don't know anything about it and it cannot be leaked or things like that. They're even going to be supporting some state IDs in the US, so it's all kinds of nice improvements for a better experience of a digital wallet on your phone. The next thing, they talked about a lot about tablets. So Google finally seems to be taking tablets a little bit more seriously. They kind of just forgot about them in the last few years, it seems so, with Android, and now they're talking with a better experience on tablets, so just optimizing the experience, also bringing multitasking to the tablet in this very similar way as Apple seems to be doing it right now. And they're also going to be updating more than 20 of their apps to support better the tablet mode inside of it. So this seems to be that Google is back for tablets and they want to have a better share of that market. So that's pretty nice for people that are using Android tablets. Right now, you're going to get a better experience with Android 13. They also announced a few other things. So first of all, they want their devices to work better together. So they announced Phone Hub on Chromebook. So this allows, if you reply to a message or something like that, to open the full app, but they're not actually installing the app on the Chromebook. They're simply streaming what is happening on your phone to your Chromebook, so you don't have to install anything. It just works, which is pretty nice. They also announced copy paste between Android devices. I would really like to see that feature on other devices. So if it worked on Windows and also Mac, that would be really nice to be able to copy paste things and just move them around really quickly. And they also announced support for Matter. So if you're gonna have Matter, that's a new standard for smart appliances. So it can include headphones, TVs, all kinds of things like that. And to set them up, you're gonna be able to do that with Android by simply having the device around your Android device, and it's gonna pop up something right away. You won't have to install apps or anything like that. So that's a really nice thing to see, that they're bringing quick pair for Matter and actually really supporting this new standard to make everything work better together in the end. The Android 13 beta is available today, and it's nice to see that they support all kinds of phone manufacturers, not only the Google Pixel devices. Let's start by some good news about the Google Pixel 6. And this is that they sold more Google Pixel 6 than they sold Pixel 5 and Pixel 4 combined. That's really good news for Pixel fans. They finally unveiled the Google Pixel 6a, which was pretty anticipated, and it has a very similar look to the other Google Pixel 6 devices. It has a really good price at $499. It's not as good as the Google Pixel 4a at $399, but it's still a very reasonable price for what you're getting. It's gonna have two cameras, including a main and ultra wide camera. It's also gonna have the Google Tensor chip, so they're not chipping out there, they're going with the same chip that's inside the Google Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. And this can allow to have some AI that's up to 5 times faster than on the Google Pixel 5a, which is pretty impressive. They quickly talked about photography and mentioned you have real tone, night sight, magic eraser, and magic eraser is also getting a new mode that allows you to automatically change the colors of distracting elements inside of your phone photos, which is pretty nice. But they didn't mention things about astrophotography, motion modes, and all kinds of other features like that. So I hope they're going to support all of them inside of the Google Pixel 6a, and they're not going to force you to buy a Pro device to get these features. They also talked about the live transit features and announced that it's coming out on July 21st in 3 colors, black, white, and green. There's a lot we don't know, so you don't know what is the size of the screen, well, if it's high refresh rate, if it's water resistant, and all kinds of things like that. So there's still a lot to learn about the device, but at least we know that you're gonna get quite a lot for a pretty good price in the Google 6a. They shared an early preview about the Google Pixel 7 and Pixel 7 Pro, but they really didn't talk about much. They showed a new design, so instead of having the black bar in the back here, it's gonna be aluminum now and a little bit lighter. They're also going to have the next gen Tensor SoC, so software on chip, which is the processor, and also going to have Android 13. But apart from that, we really don't know anything else. They seem to have 2 cameras on the Pixel 7 and 3 cameras on the Pixel 7 Pro. So I don't think it's going to be a huge upgrade from the Pixel 6 devices. So I'm really curious to see what else they're going to share later on. But it doesn't seem to be a new redesign or things like that, or much better specs or things like that. It's just going to be a normal upgrade of the phones. Then they shared some news about the Pixel Buds Pros, and the big thing here is that they're gonna have active noise cancellation. Honestly, I don't want that because I want to be hear things around. But for people that were wording that, they're saying that's one of the best technologies out there for noise cancelling in some small buds. So we're gonna have to see and test those out. They're also gonna have multiple point connectivity, so they're gonna be able to connect to multiple devices, and they're gonna switch automatically. Sometimes, again, that's not technology I love all the time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's gonna come in 4 colors. They're gonna cost $199, and it's coming out July 21st. They're also gonna support spatial audio. But again, I have the Pixel Buds A's and I really love them. They're really great devices at half the price. I don't really see why I would pay for the Pro Pixel Buds Pros, but if it's something that you want and you want better audio quality, it might be something to look forward to. Some more interesting things they shared is their Ambient Approach. So they really want all your devices from Google to work better together. And some of the examples they were showing is that if you have your front door, it should know when to lock itself. So if you walk out of your home, it should know that you're not there anymore and lock itself automatically. But also if you're listening to TV and getting up to get a snack or something like that, they should pause the TV automatically because they know that you're getting up. So these are all kinds of things they want to add using your Pixel devices to be able to have a better integration between all of their products. Another very curious thing they announced is a Google tablet, and they said it's coming out in 2023. So it's very rare that they announce something so much in advance, but I think they're talking about tablets a lot this year, and that's probably because they're planning for the Pixel Fold to come in the next few years, and they want to have better support for tablet mode instead of the devices and get developers to be working on tablet apps in the next few years to have better support compared to the iPads out there. So that's why I think they're talking about tablets so much inside of this Google conference this year. Let's end with the thing that's been rumored the most inside of the Google Pixel world, and this is the Pixel Watch. So they finally revealed it. Again, it was just a quick early preview. It wasn't the official announcement, so we don't know everything, but it has a rounded display with a tactile crown. It actually looks really good, looks better than most of the smartwatches out there. It looks a little bit more like a piece of jewelry instead of looking like a piece of tech on your arm. It's gonna have an improved Wear OS. It's also gonna have Google Assistant. I think it's gonna be on board, and that's gonna be pretty cool. It's also going to have Google Maps on board, so you're going to be able to go wherever without having your phone. So if you lose your phone or you forget your phone, you can still like go around using Google Maps. It's also going to have all the features of Google Wallet inside of it, so that's really nice. So you won't have to use your phone to have access to Google Wallet. It's also going to have a deep integration with Fitbit. Now, a question I got asked a few days ago is actually if I'm going to be buying the Google Pixel Watch when it's going to come out, and I'm not sure, and the reason is because of Fitbit, not because the watch is not going to be nice or something like that. But the problem I had with Fitbit when I had a Fitbit before, and the reason why I switched to Garmin with this watch right here, is actually that the sports that I do, so I do things like kayak, I do a lot of biking, running, outdoor swimming, also cross-country skiing, downhill skiing, and most of these sports are actually not supported by Fitbit, and Fitbit seemed to have no interest at all of adding them. So if the Pixel Watch doesn't support them, it's definitely not a watch that I'm going to be one to buy, and that's kind of disappointing because I think the watch has to do two things really well. So first of all, show the time, and second, have really great support for health and fitness features. So if they're not able to nail these two, it might be a little bit of a problem, even if they have all kinds of cool other features inside of it. I hope you enjoyed this little recap of the Google 2022 I/O event. I would love to know what excites you the most inside of this event and what was announced, so definitely let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by hitting the like button below, and definitely subscribe for more content on photography and filmmaking. See you in the next one.